Ooh, I forgot to copy the ID for the YouTube chat. But let me just recap what the plan is today for the VOD. Okay, so for people joining on the YouTube and the Twitter, the plan for today is we're going to work on the WebMCP challenge. And if you're unaware, the WebMCP challenge is a thing put on by OpenAI. We'll take a look at the website here in just a second. My voice is a little hoarse. I went out and had some dinner with my nephew, and then we went and closed down the Runaway in Seattle. It's just a bar. And they had like loud music going, so I was like having to yell over it. Super annoying. But whatever. I think my voice is fine now. It's coming back. It's just a little like deeper. It's what happens when you like stress it. The vocal cords get all stretched out. But before I do that, I do want to make sure I'm not showing that. Cool. All right, so let's get back to it. All right, so I feel like our source lag should have caught up by now. But we're still getting like enough downtime that it lags behind. Which is not ideal. But that's fine. That's not the thing we're doing. So the WebMCP challenge. That is the thing OpenAI is putting on. We've got 6 days left to build and submit stuff. And damn, 4 wheels. So yours is at the 300. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know, Brainless. I don't know what causes it to get dropped. So yeah, 10 days exploring what's possible with WebMCP. We're going to sign in with GitHub. I am working solo. OpenAI told me about it via Twitter. I think that's where I discovered it. Founder. How often do I use Codex? Regularly. How familiar was I with WebMCP before this challenge? I mean, we explored. I wouldn't say we experimented yet. Have I used ChatGPT's in-app browser? Never. And I don't care about the marketing stuff. I wonder if it counts towards, like, whether you win or not. It's fine. We can always unsubscribe. Project name, Messijo. All right. So hold on. We don't want to do this just yet. Okay. Yeah. We can create drafts at least. All right. So what other projects do we have that we think an MCP server could be useful for? Right. And not MCP servers. Sorry. WebMCP could be useful for. Githium. And what up? How you doing, Bado? I know there's another alternative to this. Or Ray.so, yeah. All right. So, yeah, let's get to building this out. And yeah, how you doing, Bottom? What you up to? What's everyone up to? So yeah, the whole thing here, 35 grand in cash. So the top 10 submissions will receive 3 grand in cash from OpenAI. 1 year of ChatGPT Pro, a Codex micro keyboard, one of these things, some OpenAI swag, and additional prizes from these companies. Well, I mean, all we did so far was read up on WebMCP. We haven't actually tried implementing it, and that's going to be the main goal of today. So where is some like documentation we can feed to the agent? Because right, we're going to use, AI to generate this, of course. Okay, so this looks like the main thing. And wait, there's a language called Bike Shed? Wait, what? I've never heard of this before. It's for writing specs. Huh. I've never heard of it. That is kind of cool. Nifty. Yeah, that is pretty interesting. All right, so that's like the Lang itself. Oh, yeah, that's Bike Shed. So then if we look at the spec, that's these .bs. I don't know why that's so funny. That's funny. The specification framework using BS as the extension is just fun. That's pretty good. Interesting. So you still give it kind of like standard markdown? Or is this generated from the markdown? Interesting. Well, anyway, that's not the main reason we're here. I was just, yeah, kind of like fascinated by that. But okay, so and what up, Joel? So WebMCP is a way of like, yeah, hold on. So there's this doc right here, Joel, that goes into some of the stuff, right? So it's basically like, I'll just regurgitate some of what they're saying. Let me just try and sum it up first. If you implement WebMCP, and it's basically just a bunch of JavaScript that you define for your website, an agent inside of something like the desktop codex tool with the in-app browser can then manipulate the website in easier ways than trying to like discover that stuff, right? Like it's it's like a playbook of things that an agent could do to your website. So, if a user isn't using the MCP server from a tool like Claude Code on the CLI, and they're doing it in like something that has a built-in browser, then theoretically the agent can manipulate that WebMCP using your existing session instead of having to deal with all like the overhead of setting up auth for a standalone MCP server, which is like the heaviest part we're dealing with, for Messijo, right? Like we're currently, implementing the Hono MCP server on Cloudflare. It's like a proxy, to our MCP or not to our API, right? But theoretically, this is just even simpler. It's just something we would implement directly onto the dashboard. And of course, I'm going to have an agent implement it. My thought is that we need to do some discovery. So we're going to create a new task. It is going to be the web repo. Yep. MCP server for Bruno successfully published. Hell yeah, Brainless. It's awesome. You might even consider publishing it to various marketplaces. So if you're unaware, there are places that you can publish these things. Model, context protocol. I think slash let me double check. Here we go, the registry. Do they have a link? Well, yeah, basically, when you have an MCP server, you can publish it to places like this. I kind of figured they would have a link to take us directly to it. Well, let's just search for it. Here we go. Registry dot whatever. So yeah, the idea is that in this list, you can have your MCP server listed and people can discover it easier. Another thing you might even consider is making it a plugin for Codex and Cursor, because they have plugin marketplaces. Oh, that was weird. Interesting little power spike. Oh. Hold on, I just lost this light. Hold on. I was wondering where that audio is coming from, too. There we go. Got rid of that. That is super weird. Let me double check, because, yeah, it's not power out to the rest of the place. It might just be the breaker. Give me a second. All right. Well, looks like we're good. Let me just figure out why this light's not on. Yeah, that was crazy. Weird little power spike. But yeah, not running off of UPS power anymore. Okay. That was super weird. But that's why you got to get yourself some UPSs if you're a streamer. And theoretically, you want them to be the kind that are like a pure sine wave, because they'll also smooth out like bad power. You know, if you have like dirty power that doesn't do a clean sine wave, that could happen from like bad wiring, just old wiring, you know, maybe a rat chewed through it and like exposed some stuff. There's all sorts of things that can cause dirty power. Dirty power is like a thing that will ruin your electronics. So it's important to, you know, get anything you care about put in front of or put behind a UPS that like massages that sine wave for you. But yeah, that was weird. Anyway, back to it. So yes, so Brainless, yes, this is like the main MCP registry that you would submit to, but then there's also Claude plugins, discover and install. There we go. Wait, what? Take me to the actual plugin page. Here we go. You know, like we just got Get Kraken in here. This is still showing only 98 installs, though, which I find interesting. But anyway, just the basic idea of, you know, just if you want someone to actually use it and you want feedback and all that stuff, getting it out to the marketplaces is important. Cursor has one. There's one for OpenAI as well, but it's only, like, as far as MCP servers go, they only support the HTTP style. So I'm assuming yours is like a local CLI. Probably not something that would work for you. Yeah, exactly. But there's still like a shitload of places that you can do this. I'm not sure if it makes sense for your audience, but there's a Docker MCP catalog that does require that you wrap your MCP server into a Docker container. It's pretty simple with the standard IO. There's a shitload of them, actually. There's Llama. I think this one supports standard IO, but I can't remember. If the Get Kraken one's on there. Yes. All right. So, yep. So, yeah, there's just a bunch of catalogs, and I don't know. Could be a fun thing to just submit them to the ones that you know about and care about. But okay, so back to WebMCP. So we're going to spin up a project. Let's get to Giphium. Oh no, what did we name it? Yeah, no worries, Brainless. So we didn't name it Giphium? Well, that's trickier. Because I certainly don't remember what we called it, and we got a shitload. What up, beautiful? Trail Depot. What the hell was Trail Depot? Watching stream before you go to sleep? Nice. Mitosis? No. No, not mitosis. I think it was lithium. My talk is now ready? Yeah. We finished the slides. I'll probably do some more like practice runs, you know, over the weekend or something. I'll probably like record a. Hold on, what's this? Okay, that's a separate thing. Yeah, I'll probably record like a Loom for work or something. All right, so let's head to GitHub. Let's double check. I don't think it's lithium. I think it is Githium here. Yes. But I think we called it lithium. Wait, what was this about, Colin? Oh, just, that's the feed. The goggle? What are my thoughts on stainless steel pans? They're fine. You need to get some, like, high-quality ones. If they're too thin, they warp pretty easily. And I think some of the best stainless steel pans actually have, like, a copper element on the bottom to, like, spread out the heat. Let me get more music on. I do tend to prefer cast iron. Yeah, all my pans are either cast iron or glass. The glass ones aren't amazing. I just like the fact that they're like, they're neutral, right? Like they don't leach any minerals or anything into your food. Stainless steel leaches nickel into your food, and, you know, cast iron leaches iron into your food. It's not necessarily bad, but I don't know. I take a multivitamin already, so, you know, overdoing it on minerals isn't especially healthy. Yeah, exactly. But I already take a multivitamin that has iron in it, and I think it's definitely enough of like my daily value. It's not the end of the world, you know? Yeah. I don't do any of the non-stick stuff. I don't trust it. Does Hexclad have like a non-stick coating too? Ceramic. So maybe it's okay. I don't know. I don't know. Older generations did. I think the new ones are ceramic. But yeah, I just don't do the non-stick stuff anymore. I think, yeah, so let me double check on all my pans. I do have a stainless steel pot for like boiling noodles. And I've got a carbon steel wok. But then everything else is cast iron and glass. But okay, so what I want to do is I want to double check if... oh, hold on. I'm going to create this over on the end. And yeah, we've got way too many of these open. All right, so that's the presentation. We'll leave that. AT Proto Sandbox, we can ignore that. Skills we'll leave for now. Rapport we'll leave. All right. Good enough. All right, so update editor.tsx, update editor.tsx. All right, perfect. So that is where we left off. That is the right project. I am going to move it, though. Oh, that just looks like formatting. I wonder what's in that env file. Hey, Maya. How's it going? How are the fish doing? They're doing great? Hell yeah. How am I? I'm doing well. Yeah, just hanging out. Oh, BRB. No worries. Until Maya comes back, I'll respond to that question. But for the people joining from the raid, the thing we're doing today is there is a challenge for WebMCP. And let's see, where do we have this? Yeah, this is the article. So, yes, I know, Maya, it's an anti-AI stream. So if y'all hate AI, I totally get it. But if you're building a product, right, like a software as a service, you probably need to support people who do use who do use AI. All right, so WebMCP is a way to give your web app or website some kind of like tools that AI can like build and run with instead of like letting it guess. So it's almost like a playbook of telling like an LLM how to use your website. And the nice part about that versus like a standard MCP server is that the user can reuse their existing like session and auth, right? They just log in on your site and then boom, the AI has access to the auth that you just did. So you don't have to do all the crazy like OAuth stuff that like a standard MCP server has to do. So it's kind of interesting and cool. And technically, you could win $3,000. So I was going to implement WebMCP for my, startup that I'm building anyway, but now that there's like a motivation, well, okay, let's do it sooner rather than later. And yes, we're going to use AI to implement it. I understand that it's maybe not as fun, but it means that we get to chat more. But yes, I do use AI. I still read the code. I still care about things. I still have opinions about like what good code and bad code is, and AI likes to write a lot of bad code. But there's still some really powerful things in the AI space that I think are useful. Things like auto research. The idea is with Pi Auto Research, if you want to optimize some part of your application, maybe it's your bundle size, maybe it's compilation hyperparameters, for creating a smaller binary, whatever. You can have auto research just try a bunch of things, and if it improves whatever number you're trying to optimize for, it keeps it. And then if it doesn't, it discards it. So it's kind of nifty. Yeah, no worries. I held off because I saw you say BRB, but no worries. Yeah, it's fine. So I'm doing great. I went to Render ATL a couple weeks ago, and I ended up winning an award. I was the unsung hero. It was the final award of the night. It was presented by Kelsey Hightower. I think it's just for like, streaming like this. So I think there's plenty of people that deserve recognition too. Once I get the award thing, I'll do like a video talking about it, and then I'll probably start doing like a weekly, like, hey, I'll shout out other streamers thing. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, it was just fun. And it's the only time I've worn a suit, I think, besides my prom, like over 20 years ago. So yeah, had to wear a suit, didn't have the beanie. Part of my acceptance speech was, yep, this is the only time you'll ever see me in a suit and without a beanie. Drink it in. Like, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so, yeah, just for your context as well, Maya, like, I know you do like to build, maybe projects that you would want to turn into, like a startup or something at some point. Right now, the emulator is probably not that, but, if you ever do, the idea of WebMCP is a pretty interesting idea, right? Just because you're not using AI doesn't mean your startup shouldn't support people that do. And WebMCP, there is this challenge now put out by OpenAI over the next 6 days, almost 7. There is a challenge, a hackathon, what you will. You could win $3,000 in cash from OpenAI. So yeah, I'm going to do that for 2 of my projects. I'm going to do that for Messijo, and we're going to do that for, like, Giphium. If you remember Giphium at all, I'll show it off, just in case. Right, so let's say we have 2 snippets, right? We're going from view 2 to view 3. I think that's what this is. So then, we take those 2 snippets, and we can animate between them using Shiki Magic Move. I built this without AI 2 years ago. I won $5,000 in the Solid.js hackathon. It was pretty awesome. And then, yeah, once we've done that, we can hit generate, and it'll generate an actual like GIF. That was like HTML elements, just like showing you the preview. Boom, we've got this GIF that we can download, a GIF of the diff. And we can even enable video by downloading FFmpeg Wasm, and then generating and downloading the MP4. It's pretty fun, right? The idea is just like, you may want to like, show some of this stuff on, on social media or whatever, for whatever code snippets you're like talking about or showing. I mean, Colt, there's nothing wrong with that. I think AI is just a tool, but also you shouldn't let it, think for you. Like, one of the things I've seen is the best, like, the people who are best at using AI were already kind of the best engineers anyway, right? Because they still have taste, they still know what they want. It's not just like vibe coding and like, like spray and pray. It's more about like having taste and telling the agent what to do. And then you get better results out of it because you can actually evaluate if it's going in the wrong direction or if it's missing some security stuff or whatever, right? It's just a tool. If you don't want to use it, I'm not going to, I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. But I work at a company called GitKraken, and we have done a major pivot to like being an AI tools company. Like, we have a product called Kepler, which you'll see me using from time to time here. Right? This is, just a thing. Yeah, brainstorming. It's even great when like you're learning a new language, right? Like a new programming language. If you want to learn Rust and you're kind of confused by some of the syntax, have it explain it to you. Yeah, right? Like, there's all sorts of ways to like use AI in a sane way without necessarily, letting it do all the work and go off the rails and whatever, right? Like, it's not taking our jobs. I do recommend most people who are at least curious about the AI stuff to dive in as much as you can now, because once the bubble bursts, it's going to be way more expensive than it is right now, right? Like, all of the major providers, even the Chinese models, are heavily subsidized to get people like hooked and to use it. eventually that price optimization is going to go away and it'll cost us more. Unless there's like huge jumps in, you know, like capabilities per like bit of RAM, etc. And yeah, exploring new code bases is another great use case. Yep. Yeah, it's already starting to happen. Beautiful. Yep. Yeah, for sure. The GitHub outage? Yeah, I started like 40 minutes ago, so I think I missed it. Oh, Twitch had a massive outage. Oh, yeah, I started after that. I didn't even notice. Yeah. Yep, no clue. Due to GTA 6, apparently? What? Did they do like a live stream? Like an announcement live stream? That's funny. Interesting. I had no idea. Okay. Huh. Oh, 26 minutes of a thing on Netflix, and then people were streaming it. Oh, okay. Interesting. But yeah, like as Brainless is saying, AWS had an outage as well. Do we think the Twitch outage cascaded to taking AWS down? Or do we think it was just more like coincidental timing of that? Yeah, exactly, Maya. Like there there are streamers that push those boundaries quite a bit. But yeah, what were you doing on your stream? And yeah, we're gonna kick some stuff off. So we're gonna do a new work tree off of main. We're gonna use we'll use Codex for it. Oh wait, hold on. Do I have Codex usage to use? Okay. I hate the fact that they brought back the 5-hour usage limit. You got a game to run in the Game Boy Advance emulator? Hold on, let me scroll up. That's awesome. What game? Oh, that's so cool. And what's up, JLem? How you doing? Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Like, you know, I do it over on the gaming stream, but we do it on like free platforms like Tubi. You know, so I don't know. I think it's somewhat more of a gray area for that. But Superstar Saga, just the broken splash screen for now. Got it. Still though, like it's running. That's awesome. How far along do you think you are? Like what percentage of the emulator do you think you got like ready? Like it might like you know how there's like test 262 for JavaScript engines? Like 50%. Graphics are pretty close. CPU is done, you think. Sound and all sorts of special cases are still pending. Got it. Yeah. Like, I would guess that there isn't a text 262 for, you know, Game Boy Advance emulators, but that might be a pretty interesting thing, right? If you want to encourage people to build their own, you could at least, like, set up the benchmark, you know, for yourself to, like, you know, see how far along you truly are. And then also, like, you know, maybe do a hackathon of people building in other languages just for fun. I don't know. Could be cool. For now, it's still mostly breaking your brain. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be just like interesting for you to have this like number one, make sure you don't regress anything. You know, so have some tests for various things. You could probably even like get benchmarks into it to like figure out like optimization paths. I don't know, just spitballing. I think that would be really cool. You do use community test ROMs. Okay, yeah. And is that like a unit testable thing, or is that just more like, you know, you do like the manual kind of acceptance testing? And let's get another album going. This one's kind of trying to put us to sleep. How dare they? But yeah, and thanks again for the raid. Appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like we haven't chatted for a bit. Yeah, and it's for a fun project, so you want to keep it fun. I totally get that. Maybe someone from your community will build it for you. And what language are you using to build it? Is that a Zig project? I think I forgot. Rust. Awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, Rust is great. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I almost want to figure out what a test 262 kind of thing for like emulators would look like. But yeah, got to do the bedtime stuff. No worries. Yep, get better sleep for sure. Totally get it. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yep, have a great rest of your night. And yeah, the rest of Maya's Raiders, welcome. We're going to work on this MCP stuff. We're going to kick it off. We do have the ability to use codecs right now, so we're going to do that. All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Default mode, not fast mode. Perfect. So we're going to do an exploration. And yes, for people joining from Maya stream, if you're not big into the AI stuff, this thing called OpenSpec is kind of like a spec-driven development. So this is really like where we chat and discuss and like come up with a solid plan for the agent to like to do the work, right? So we're going to give it, you know, we don't need to do crazy prompt engineering because that's what the whole plan phase is for. And it like asks questions. It's going to propose like, you know, like a basic workflow. And our entire goal is just to like to get it started and then confirm the plan. Now, the difference between that and like a plan mode is plan mode doesn't create like a durable document or set of documents that you can pass off to another session. And the reason you want to do that is context window. So with the ChatGPT models, the context window by default is like 280K, something like that. And in general, you don't really want to go above that, even if you have a million token context window anyway. Like you're going to start getting context rot. And that's why they do it this way specifically. So I tend to prefer to avoid auto compaction, which is kind of like it'll take your context and condense it. I find that to be pretty buggy. So instead, we're going to do an exploration. We're going to talk about it. And my guess is that this thing is going to be too big of a scope for just one session after we've like done the durable handoff and we start applying the change. But we're going to quiz it and ask about it and we'll see. And Ethan, hey, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. And beautiful. This prompt screen looks neat. Yeah, so this is setting up a task for Kepler, which is the tool that I'm using. And that way we can do like concurrent work without having to juggle a bunch of terminal tabs. That's the theory, at least. So yeah, OpenSpec Explorer. I want to create WebMCP functionality for the dashboard. I think, let me just see if we can get some docs for it. So that isn't exactly what I'm looking for, right? Like they got the specification here, which is cool. Yeah, we'll probably just pass this as the context and let the agent crawl it. All right, so this is going to go comb those things and come up with a plan. I also want to do a new task, and this one is going to be a different repo, and we're going to do the Githium stuff. And this is going to be a simpler one. But yeah, so I figure any of the side projects I have that are still hosted and useful and people are using them, well, maybe Githium isn't as used, but we can still just add the repo. We're going to get rid of web there. And then this is basically the same thing. We're going to switch to a different agent, though. All right, number one, give me a sec. Remove models from open code. All right, let me do this real quick just in case. Yep, that had some keys in it. We're going to get rid of the open router stuff. We'll keep open code in there. I wonder when we refresh this list. Yeah, so that's not it. Let me double check something. We're going to do the max effort because we get it super cheap anyway. Let me double check. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know if my open code Go plan has reset yet. Resets in 1 day. We do have $15 worth of credits. I am kind of curious how much that would cost us. Right, Kimmy K3 is super expensive. Oh, wow. All right, so that was GLM 5.3. But this is GLM 5.3 Flash. Let me double check artificial analysis real quick. Because, yeah, 5.3 is spendy. Yeah, so 5.3 Flash. Dude, that is a pretty significant bump above DeepSeek V4 Pro. Dude, yeah, significant bump. Yep, okay. So I am curious about how much that would end up costing us. So let's try it. Hold on. I forgot that's a thing. We're going to disable remote access now. All right, there we go. It's free. You're the product. But yeah, what's up, Pravan? How you doing? And what up, Plank? How you doing? Let me double check. Did I miss some other stuff in chat? Nah, we're good. And Plank, thanks for the sub, man. All right. So here's my thought. This did not refresh the way it should have. At least that one's there. So that's fine. There you go. Good catch. I never watched that show. I think I saw it maybe once or twice. All right, so we want to implement WebMCP for the Giphium app. The WebMCP spec is here. And yeah, I probably should have just copied and pasted that, but whatever. All right, and hold on. Yeah, we want that on max. We want that on the build mode, and we should be good there. So yeah, let's kick that one off. And here is the current exploration from the first one. You invested in a monitor arm. It was about time. Yeah, I've got an arm for my my work machine over here on the right, which is kind of nice too. All right, so okay. So yeah, I like the plan already. It realized that our dashboard layout is probably the cleanest place to just do this instantiation, which is nice. Its current plan, though, is right just reading like the selected team state, validating inputs, permissions, and quotas, calling existing service classes, and then updating yotai after mutations. Okay. So as far as the tools, right, dashboard overview, list keywords, listing keyword events, possible untrusted content. Yep. Listing notifications. A second phase would add create keyword, mark events red. It would initially exclude deletion, billing, API keys, team membership, etc. Okay. Yep. I like that. Right. So registration should just happen once, but reading from the fresh state should be totally easy and doable. And yeah, let's switch to the agent graph. All right. So this one needs a permission check. Uh, all right, so that's still going. Let me get more music going though. Let's do a longer album so I don't have to keep clicking stuff. All right, so yeah, we are kicking this off. Let's continue reading through this part though. So the current draft supports register tool, lifecycle ownership through abort signal, read-only, untrusted content annotations, tool discovery, tool change. Right, the imperative API instead of the declarative form support. Sure.
Yeah, okay, so embedded agent is not a goal. I do think we will want mutations. Will that involve decorating at yeah, embedded agent is not a goal now or in the future. It could be though. But yeah, at least for now, we'll do this part. Yeah, so we'll let the browser agent stuff do its thing. I'm still not sure if we just want to do like the read-only stuff first. Yeah, I think read-only is fine for now. All right, so then, yeah, let's read this one. And yeah, I kind of want this stuff collapsible. This is taking a lot of my vertical real estate. So yeah, hold on. Yeah, so Giphium is essentially a form disguised as an app, 2 text inputs, 18 styling knobs, and 1 expensive action. That's the easiest possible case for an agent. There's nothing for it to figure out visually. User could just say, Copilot, ChatGPT, make a GIF of this diff, Nord theme, purple gradient, blah, blah, blah. And the agent drives the app through tools instead of screenshot scraping color pickers. This formatting is weird. Okay, yeah. So these are the individual tools. So set code, update style, partial patch. Oh, it's a partial patch of the style. Got it. Getting the settings. Sure. Generate the GIF. Yeah, perfect. So generate GIF is the hard one. The pipeline is trapped in the component closure. It needs all those things, a hidden render. So there's going to be a slight refactor. The tool registration itself is around 50 lines. Okay. Shiki ships 60 themes and 200 languages. Inlining them as JSON schema makes every tool description huge for the model. I don't know, like a list options tool kind of makes sense to me. All right, let's double check this part where it left off. Yeah, okay. I think the plan that they got is good. Actually, hold on. Right. Does it think it can squeeze this into a single context window? So then, yes, looking at this again, so then for the design tensions, right, we're going to do one dot, so then for the second thing, All right, so then this is annoying. So the registration lifecycle. I do think a dev-only mock is a good idea. And then let me just double check. I hate the fact that I have to do this over and over. So yeah, that's definitely a bug. Like our vertical real estate gets chewed up in this view. Let me just screenshot this for work. Yep, there we go. One second, Plank. Let me respond to that in just a sec. Sorry, I didn't see the comments. I need to share this over to my work machine. Sorry, I just got to share this for work. There we go. So yeah, just had to share that. You know, it's part of my job. Yeah, and that last question I don't think was as necessary. And hold on. Cool. All right, so getting that downloading. I just need to check a performance thing there. So now let me respond to what you asked, Plank. All of this MCP stuff was completely new to you. Correct you if you're wrong, but the way you understood it was MCP tools work as actions that AI can do to interact with your website. And I'm incorporating WebMCP into Messijo for a hackathon, and also because it can be useful. Yep. 100%. So we're also building a proper canonical MCP server as well. That's a much heavier lift, right? Because WebMCP can just use your existing auth, right? Like the user logs into the app and then boom, they're logged in, they're done, right? All that stuff is just right there in the browser for something like the ChatGPT app to use, right? Because they have an in-app browser in the ChatGPT desktop app. And yeah, theoretically, Chrome is going to have some kind of AI support eventually, right? So that's why I'm thinking my in-app agent chat is not important, because I think browsers are going to implement that stuff anyway. But yeah, so we're implementing the WebMCP for 2 projects right now. So one we're doing for the Messijo dashboard, just because it's also nice and self-contained. Okay, so then we'll just tell it to create the proposal. I think it'll be fine. And then for the Giphium one, all right. So yeah, we got these kicking off. I do want to double check, what is our usage looking like again? All right, so far we've spent a whopping 6 cents with GLM 53 Flash. How about our codecs? Dude, yeah, the 5-hour limit is bullshit, man. All right, so yeah, that's still thinking. Oh, I thought these things were draggable. Huh. Guess not. So yeah, I do like seeing these things like kind of like spawn out. It's pretty cool. And yeah, for anyone else out there, right, you could potentially win $3,000 just by implementing WebMCP into your, your web apps and your projects. Could be kind of cool. And I think this is interesting. I don't know what I would use this for. But it'd still be cool. Why not? You have one in the box? Like you haven't even taken it out, talented? That's funny. They sent it to you with the thank you note. Is that because like you're like a max 200 like user? So you're a power user. That's what they're telling you. Based upon their metrics, you're one of their favorite customers. That's fun. Damn right. You use Claude more. Don't tell them that. They'll take it back. Is it maybe a thing where like you've just been subscribed for long enough? Right? Like it's like a loyalty thing. I could see that. All right, so we'll create a new session. Yeah, we're using codecs for this one. Thanks for being a great customer. Take this as a token of appreciation and had a QR code for 5 banked resets. Oh, man. Do they expire? Yeah, like, dude, you could sell those. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there you go. Right? Like if it's limited edition or something. Like even the QR code, you could probably sell for a ton later. Assuming, you know, when the bubble bursts, it doesn't take OpenAI down with them. Right? All right, so let's zoom back in. The canonical MCP server seems like it would be hard to do. Yeah, it's like it's a heavy scope, right? Because you need to do like auth in like a like you become like an OAuth server yourself. Hmm. How'd that bug get in here? Weird. Do I think built-in AI chatbots are going to start to become redundant with all the MCP stuff? Yes, absolutely. Right. So like having an AI chat that you built as part of your website, it's not going to be necessary because browsers are going to build that stuff in themselves. Right. Like Chrome is going to have Gemini probably like as a thing that you can just tie right into it. So that like, you know, browsers are going to have their own chat and it just uses the WebMCP for you. Boom, done. That's at least my theory. I don't know for sure. I mean, WebMCP especially, right? Like WebMCP is going to be essential because, like, theoretically, AI can like guess at like filling out forms, but if you give it like better details, then it doesn't need to guess, and it's like, theoretically cheaper on tokens. So as people start optimizing for their token usage, that might become way more important. Yep. Oh, and I just realized I don't have my phone on me. Let me go grab that real quick. And it's still just funny to me. Both of my brothers told my nephew that I'm the crazy one. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They're both pretty crazy too. I'm probably like more of a partier than them. That's probably it. That's maybe what they were talking about. I don't think it was malicious. All right, so yeah, we can close this, and we do still have some stuff kicking over here. Um, for the Jetstream Turbo stuff. Yeah, so this agent graph is like the coolest, newest feature that Kepler has. So, like, seriously, if anyone wants to fiddle with it, we need your feedback. It's currently just, free. It wires up to your agents and stuff. Like, so it's just using your existing subscriptions, using the ACP, Agent Client Protocol. We don't currently support Pi yet. I would love it if we did. But that's a little trickier because Pi doesn't ship the ACP as part of like the core. All right, so then yeah, we'll pop open Pi here. Model. Uh, Actually, hold on. Does Olama have GLM 5.3 yet? They do. And yes, I messed this up. Let me think about how I want to say this. As well as our all right, and man, dude, Kimmy K3 is super expensive. I bet we'll be able to run so many GLM 5.3 flash sessions before we even come close to that Kimmy K3 usage. Yep, so those are just ticking along. All right, so this is gold. Let me analyze. All right. It looks like it's stalled. Let's just try again. And then, hold on. Planks, you're saying, Kepler, did I have a hand in making that? Not really. I've just given feedback. Now, the dev team, I think it's like 4 or 5 people. And they kill it. I might hack on it a bit to see if we can get Pi, like, into it. All right, so yeah, we're doing some discovery there. We can probably start kicking off more of these MCP things, but we kind of got locked out because of the 5-hour window. Oh, wrong thing. So yeah, 55%, man. Yeah. Dude, the 5-hour usage limit is killing me, man. I mean, my role is to, right, developer advocacy is, it's like a two-way communication layer with devs. Think about it this way. Any any company where the target customer is developers needs a developer advocate because people in marketing are not software developers. So typically, developer advocates will live either in like product and they'll do the they'll do docs and things like that, or they live under marketing, and I live under marketing. So my goal is to help get the word out about our products, to take feedback from users, to give talks at conferences, to write blog posts, etc. Like it's kind of a fuzzy role. And like just in general, like even just me using this and providing feedback has a lot of value, right? But taking that feedback from users and bringing it in. I help run our Slack channel, like our public Slack channel for ambassadors and some of that stuff. There's like one Rockstar ambassador we have that I have like a bi-weekly meeting with. You know, just to like collect feedback from them because they're a power user of GitKraken stuff. So yeah, it's a very like public facing role. And even like doing things like building Gitbench falls under it, right? Because it's so loosely defined and because it changes so significantly from company to company, there's a lot of like kind of making it up as you go. All right, so this was the GPT Soul stuff. I probably need to download ChatGPT Desktop to test this thing. Yeah, it is a technical role because our audience is technical, right? So, I mean, some of the work I do, someone might be preparing like a blog post or like a social media message or, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. And they'll come to me and be like, does this make sense? Right. Because they're not developers. They don't have, you know, that context. Oh, interesting. It has all of my previous sessions in here too. Huh. Oh, and sorry. Raimu. No, I only have the $20 plan. Sorry, I forgot to respond to that. I've heard that it's only the plus plan, so any pro plan doesn't have the 5-hour window. I think it's like a lever they're trying to pull to get people to upgrade. Oh, Adam was thinking about it too? Yeah, I'm almost positive it's only on plus. So the $20 plan has the 5-hour window. I think it's pretty lame, but whatever. All right, so hold on. Let's look at this. At work, you get a big enough quota that you never run out. Nice. And yeah, I was gonna ask what platform you guys use, like Claude versus Codex, but yeah, maybe don't. You know, I don't want you to dox anything that might get you in hot water. Oh, you guys use Claude? Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. What does Adam use? Adam's using Codex? Okay, yeah, just double checking. I guess one thing I want to double check. I think we'll do it as a new spec. AI token gambling websites come out? What do you mean by that? Yeah, so those are all done. And those are done too. Yep. Oh, gamble for a chance to win more time? Oh, that would be interesting. Oh. So it's almost like yeah, exactly. That's an interesting one. Right? So basically you could like build an app that opens up your subscription via ACP, and there would be like a daemon or an agent exchange in the middle to where you may have like X amount of tokens available for a 5-hour session, and you're not going to use them because you're going to be away. So you could theoretically somehow farm out that 5-hour session to other people, which would give you credits, and then you could maybe use those banked credits later. That's an interesting idea. But like obviously there would be like a tax of some kind, or maybe just a subscription. What would that even look like? How could that work? You would see their prompts. That is true. Yeah, that is the tricky bit, right? Because it would be something that goes through and gets listed in your stuff there, right? But maybe you just make it to where like, hey, it's just for open source work anyway. Who cares? So then it's like an open source exchange, or some people just don't care. Like, yeah, see my prompts. Like, who gives a shit? Whatever. That could be really interesting. Yeah, but you could just like farm them out to other people, and other people could spend them. And then you get like banked credit for it. Yeah, that is very interesting. And I talked with someone who was in town for GopherCon, and they were talking about something kind of similar. All right, so let's pop open the terminal here. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, some kind of like exchange. I think the big problem is you would definitely get like sued for it. There would definitely be cease and desists like almost immediately. And how do you prevent abuse? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this sounds really interesting. Have a limit? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wonder. Like, you maybe wouldn't want to do it too broadly, but you could do it like within teams. So you could invite people to like a session share, or like a token share kind of thing. Because then you don't care if someone sees the prompts. This is an interesting idea. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you're paying for subscriptions at a company, yeah, just round robining the accounts. Yep, that is a simpler thing too. It probably is, Raimo. That's the thing. It's probably against TOS. Yeah, exactly, Plank. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. This is interesting. Yeah, a friend who I'm going to be seeing in a bit tonight anyway, because it's the DevRel meetup tonight. Um, they are doing a similar project where it's like running local models on like various hardware within your company, like organization, right? So just think about like all the people in, maybe marketing in, uh, like accounting, like all these things where like they're not making full use of their hardware, but they probably still have like fancy Macs that have capabilities to run local models. Could you farm that out to your entire org and then, especially if they're running like at night, like people are leaving their machines running at night probably. Could you farm out to those things networked wise for like local model usage, not just on your machine, but on other machines? So you could run, I don't know, like analysis on large data or something, right? I don't know. Yeah, I think his idea is great. I think he's actually poised to do this like token sharing aspect as well. I might recommend that to him tonight. Or at least like it's a good conversation piece. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's already got like a prototype running and everything for it. So yeah, yeah, I think he's got a really solid business kind of like on the way with that. But then also like, the subscription sharing aspect would be useful too. Exactly, Plank, right? Because there's all this hardware. You could have this like just distributed mesh of compute available, right? Which then means less data centers necessary. Like it's a really powerful idea. Like really powerful idea. Yeah, like literally, yeah, it's just an ethical botnet, but like you scope it to your company, and then you've at least got like the safety of like, well, yeah, it's not leaving your network. Dude, yeah, it's a genius idea. I think it's really good. And I know there's something similar. I always forget the name of the open source one. I know Zayu was using it on stream at one point. Um, yeah, I don't remember it. But yeah, for the guy that uses his M4 MacBook Pro to check his emails. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. The mega book, if you will. Yeah, it's none of these. But yeah, this one seems like similar, you know? Yep. Yeah, so this is the open source one. And then LL Mule? I had not heard of. Yep, here's another one. Only got 12 upvotes on Product Hunt, though? What? Oh, there you go. Exactly, Plank. Well, you probably shouldn't be using a work machine for that anyway. Hold on, what's this? Dude, that is a nice golf bag. Damn. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure, Four Wheel. All right. So yeah, how's this stuff going? So in here, what we want to do is get the dev server going. Oh, but we can't do that yet because we need the API running. Okay, just want to double check that. Uh-huh. Oh, and I get it, Kenny. Sorry, it took me a bit to like parse your message because punctuation is sometimes really helpful. But I get it. Yeah, sports video games. The only way to get good at a sport is to continuously do it. right? No one's good at sports automatically. Exactly, Raimu. Yep, punctuation matters. Oh no, it's fine, Kenny. Yeah, don't feel bad about it. It just took me a minute to parse it. Like I read it once and I was like, okay, I'm gonna let my brain stew on it for a sec. Because I just didn't get it at first. All right, so something is up here. Nice. That is a good t-shirt. There you go, Kidos. That's a good one. That is a solid one. Man, Chai. I haven't seen Chai in ages. There's a package called Why is Node Running? That's just funny. Right? Like, what? Where did that come from? Yeah, I should have ignored this. Such a pain to go through, but I feel like we're towards the end of the file. Why is Node running? Yeah, exactly. Uh, wait, what? Okay, I didn't even need to go that far. Why is that tsconfig like Zod entry there? Like it's in node modules. It should resolve just fine. Oh. Oh, and I missed a follow. Loop614. Thank you for that follow. I missed that. My bad. Okay, so we restore that source WebMCP, source capabilities, test. Sure. Something seems off here. So we're going to reinstall via PNPM because I don't see why that would be not working. Damn, that node modules be thick. Interesting. All right, so yeah, let's continue looking at some of the other stuff. Interesting. So Olama's GLM53 flash seems to just like get hung in the middle of its process. Yeah, so that's weird. Let's try this. All right, so that still fails. Meanwhile, we just go to the web repo here. It works just fine. What? So that is very strange to me. Oh. Oh, goddamn work trees. Uh, what? Why is that not completing the branch? That is really annoying. Oh, wait. Wait, why did that fail? Why is that undefined? Right, right. Hold on. So here's what we'll do. That is crazy. All right, so there's something weird about work trees not being something that PNPM, like local package resolution, can handle, and that's actually a problem. So yeah, that's weird. But let's try this. Yep. Um, ah. All right, so yeah, let's see if it can actually query any of this stuff. Oh, we can see it like moving the mouse around and stuff. Interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right, so we got to hand this off just because it doesn't run in this context. So we got to figure out how to do this part. All right, so then that's kicking off for that. Let's try. This one needed our input. All right, we'll allow that, I suppose. All right, so yeah, that's kicking off still. All right, so then let's pull it down. Oh, and I do have an event to go to tonight. I don't need to get there, like, immediately, though. And man, I ate at this place, Taylor's Shellfish, or Taylor Farms Shellfish, or whatever. Dude, their oysters were amazing. Yeah, like really good food. Okay, so yeah, that part is fine. See, I'm gonna say that one looks pretty good. We can archive that. This one, we're gonna archive the change. We're gonna get another one started. Let me double check where we're at with our 5-hour usage. %39 remaining. Resets at 8:43. Okay. All right, so this one's now idle. Oh, and we still have a bunch of those. Like, I haven't cleaned up the remaining OpenSpec stuff. You know what? Hold on. We'll do this. So we'll create a new session. It's going to run in the task folder. And yeah, this one we're using Codex. Oh, that one's weird. Okay, so then from here, all right, we'll do that. WebMCP continued. So then let's double check on the other one. This one's now waiting for our input. Okay, so that one works. So now let's try in here again. Nope, not that. New chat. Standard. I recently added WebMCP support to a tool, to a web app. So it doesn't even opt for its own in-app browser every time either. That's interesting. And yeah, what's up, my secure gift? Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, what stream was that we rated? I'm trying to remember now. But what's up, Smoking? How you doing? And wait, my secure gift. Do you mean like over in my gaming channel? Or because I feel like we saw you in someone else's channel the other day, right? I'm trying to remember who that was now. Oh, it was C# Fritz, right? I think you were over there, yeah. Yeah, I don't like Claude. I think Claude sucks. Like, I don't even think the models are any good. People are too like fable pilled. I am a little bummed that they re-implemented the 5-hour usage limit. I find that really annoying. And I'm sure it's just to like convince people to pay for the $100 tier. But because I'm on the $20 tier, I don't know. They're just screwing me. How dare they? Yeah, Codex is a really solid model. Like there's even stuff like Gitbench, which is something I made, where you can see within the top 20, the the GPT models score really well. But then if you add Fable, dude, Fable does actually really bad, especially with text output. So I find that interesting that Fable's this like massively hyped up thing, but it kind of sucks at certain things too. Like it's weird. Yeah. C# Fritz is great. What I find even funnier is that Opus 4.7 outscores Fable on doing Git things. And keep in mind that this is like a micro optimization. This is a micro benchmark. Is this something that you should base your entire model choice on? No. But I consider Anthropic to just be anti-consumer, right? not allowing you to use your subscription in other tools. You have to use Claude Code. That's just so anti-consumer. So I vote with my wallet. I don't give them any of my money. Codex re-implemented the 5-hour limit. No, I think you're misunderstanding Smoking Crypto. What I'm talking about is the Claude subscription is only allowed to be used in Claude Code. I consider that anti-consumer. Whereas Codex allows you to use their subscription in any tool you want. It doesn't matter to them. That's the only thing that I would really like applaud OpenAI for. The models are good, but as far as like the company, I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about like the CLI, Smoking Crypto. Like the thing you're seeing here with me using like ChatGPT desktop, this is only something I'm doing to test WebMCP support. I use the CLI and I use this other tool called Kepler from GitKraken. I'm only using this so that we can test out WebMCP and the in-app browser. So yeah, it looks like that is working as intended. I think we can commit what we got. Hold on, I have a thought. Hold on. Feat, add WebMCP support. Oh. Ugh. Oh, interesting. And Caffeine, have I tried Grokbot? So much hype on Twitter? No. No, I refuse. And like, what is the hype? Like, I'm curious about that. What have you been hearing? All right, we're definitely having a few too many of these. All right, so the conflicts are in editor.tsx. Interesting. Like, dude, these are like a bunch of different changes that mess things up. I'm gonna say we're gonna have to restart this. I'm gonna say don't save. Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, because I have an event to go to tonight. Install Python. No, thank you, there, Python Software Foundation. So who's streaming right now? And yeah, I wish we could go longer, but there's an event I'm going to tonight to hang out with more DevRel folks, and we can always just pick this back up tomorrow. I think that is a good plan. Prime's going right now. Oh, perfect. That is a good thing to do. Let's go raid Prime. I haven't had a chance to raid him in a while. They're in sub-only mode right now? What? Oh, maybe follower only? Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, so we're going to go right into the Primogen stream. He's awesome. Super cool dude. Yeah, I have an event tonight, but I'll be back here tomorrow, right? Hopefully I can start a little earlier in the day tomorrow too. So that'll be fun. And yeah, we're going to go see what Prime's up to. He was learning QEMU, which is pretty interesting. I'm pretty curious about that too. But I'm going to stop the YouTube and the Twitter for now. So thank you, YouTube and Twitter.